YouTube, what is going on? Your boy T Davis back again. Week 6, Sunday Night Football, Seattle Seahawks going into Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Low scoring matchup here, over-under, only at about 42-43 for a total. So I expect the defenses to show up. Of course, Russell Wilson, now out. So Geno Smith is going to be the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to break it all down here, the best picks on Draftkings and Fanduel. Of course, make sure you guys do like this video. Comment down below if you think I missed anyone, any values, any studs. Of course, subscribe to the channel here for the best daily fantasy football, and pro Madden tips on the channel. I've got DFS picks, fantasy football, of course, the best Madden tips around on YouTube as well. I'm a professional Madden player, professional daily fantasy player. Ranked top 100 on Roto Grinders for NFL. One of the best Madden players for the last 10 years as well. So tons of content here on the channel. Make sure you guys keep it locked, hitting that bell so you're notified. Also, real quick, check out my partnership with ThriveFantasy.com. Use that code TDavis. You can get a 100% deposit match up to $100. So you put in $100 on Thrive Fantasy, they're going to instantly match it with another $100 right in your account, right in your pocket. You'll have $200. So check that out. Use that code TDavis. They have great prop bets on there you can choose from. Check out ThriveFantasy.com, prop bets, daily fantasy stuff going on there. And of course, like I said, these picks will work on multiple sites. I know Yahoo and SuperDraft also offer single game showdowns, so these picks will pretty much work on all the sites as well. So let's get right into it here. Seattle will start on that side of the ball. Geno Smith. What's our thoughts on the man known as Geno Smith? I don't know. He looked kind of good when he came in relief last week against the Rams, right? He looked decent, but I don't expect that to hold up. I think Geno Smith is a backup quarterback for a reason. I don't think he has, I don't think he has a lot of mobility in him either. I think he's somewhat mobile, but I think we had a kind of a weird game last week where he really showed out. So I don't expect a lot from Geno Smith here. I expect more from the defenses on the Pittsburgh side. So I think Geno Smith, when you're playing cash games and you're playing a single entry, he's fine because he can get you a touchdown. He can get you maybe 200 yards passing. He's just not going to have a huge upside in my opinion. So I'm probably avoiding Geno Smith in captain in these tournament lineups that I'll be doing. But cash games, I think he's relatively safe for sure. I move over to the receiver spot. A lot of this depends, for both teams, depends on the receiver health and stuff of that nature, which we'll get into. But DK Metcalf didn't practice Thursday, and I'm recording this here on Friday. So we got to keep an eye out on DK Metcalf's status. If he does play, I think he's perfectly fine. He'll be one of my captain's guys that I will go to. I think he loses a little bit of steam with Geno Smith at quarterback, but Geno Smith did throw to him a lot when he came in the game, so who knows? And I think if he is healthy, if he does play, you take chances on him and captain all the time. I mean, he's DK Metcalf. Guy's an absolute beast. If he's ruled out, that's going to open some value up down here that we'll get into. If he's ruled out, Tyler Lockett probably becomes the best play on the slate. Just because of a pure volume standpoint. He's going to get way more looks, way more targets from Geno Smith here if DK's ruled out. If he's not, Tyler Lockett's a great play again as well. I do prefer Metcalf if both these guys play. I prefer Metcalf. I think Geno Smith will try to target him a little bit more. But both guys definitely in play. You move down the running back spot. I don't believe Chris Carson will play this week. He hasn't practiced all week again, and he's been ruled out he was ruled out last week. So I don't expect him to play again here, but we'll keep an eye out for that. If he's ruled out, Alex Collins, again, will get the majority of the workload. I think he's he's relatively safe play. Like I said, I don't see the upside on this whole Seahawks offense, especially at the quarterback and running back positions. But Alex Collins, you can definitely take a look at if and only if Chris Carson is ruled out. If Carson plays, just completely eliminate Collins from your lineups. I mean, at this price, he doesn't have the upside with Carson playing. But with Carson, if Carson's ruled out, we can take a look at Collins. Moving down the list here, Gerald Everett returning from the COVID list. He's missed the last 2 weeks on the COVID list, so that kind of eliminates Will Dissly and even Colby Parkinson from our lineup. So Gerald Everett back to probably the main role here at the tight end spot. Like I said, I think the upside is a little bit limited with Geno Smith at quarterback, but $4,600, not a bad price tag at all. I like the profile for Gerald Everett. He's pretty good athlete. He's fast, big, quick, catch those red zone targets. So I do like Everett here at this price tag. I'm relatively interested here, like I said, at that price tag. So I'll give him a look. I don't know if I'll go there and captain in any tournament lineups. I think if you're playing a lot of lineups, like 100 or so, you can definitely take a look at him. But I think you can fit him in your flex perfectly fine if you're going to go with some Geno Smith stacks. Jason Myers, I think he's in play here. Could see a slug-it-out field goal type of game. Maybe he'll get you a 50-yarder, and that will really help. So I think Jason Myers will be in play. Seahawks defense, very interesting here. I do prefer the Steelers defense, But I think the Seahawks defense is okay here. I think both defenses are in play on this kind of low-scoring, slug-it-out type of game. And Ben Roethlisberger is just a statue in the pocket now. He just does not look good. Defenses have had a lot of success on him. I think the Seahawks defense is in play. 3,800, not a bad price tag. I don't love it a lot, so I won't have a lot of shares of them, but I will have them a little. I'll have them mixed in for sure. Freddie Swain could be the best value on the slate if DK Metcalf is ruled out. So like I said, be aware of the news for DK. But if Freddie Swain, even if DK plays, he's the third receiver. I think Freddie Swain is fine here. I like the price tag, 2,400. You can get there. Will Dissly, like I said, I kind of not going to go there anymore just because Gerald Everett back. He's more of the blocking tight end as well. He does have some receiving ability, but even when Everett was out, they didn't really throw it to him. So I think it even hurts him a little bit more here now with Everett back. Homer and Dallas kind of mix in as the second and third running backs. Homer's like the third down pass protection type of block or type of back. Doesn't really get a lot of looks. DJ Dallas got 4 carries last week. He kind of filled in. He played about 20% of the snaps. Homer played about 10. So I don't love either of these guys. I think if you're playing them a lot of lineups, you can mix them in, but I wouldn't have more than like 5% of them if I'm playing like 100 lineups. Just don't see the upside with these two guys there. With Geno Smith at quarterback. Penny Hart becomes interesting if DK Metcalf's ruled out. That would slide him in to the third receiver position here. And at minimum price, $200. We can definitely take a look at that if he's sliding into that third position because we don't need much from him. If he does what he did last week, 2 catches for 19 yards, and he gets almost 4 fantasy points, like we're okay with that at minimum price. So, because he's not going to kill you in that spot. So if DK Metcalf's ruled out, Penny Hart might become one of the better values on the slate as well. And that's really all I see here from a value standpoint on the Seahawks. So it all kind of wanes on, does DK Metcalf play? I do expect Metcalf to play, so that kind of will hurt Penny Hart here. You can still take some chances on him if you're playing a lot of lineups as the fourth receiver, but he becomes way thinner. Becomes a little bit more playable if DK is ruled out. So I do think when we go over to the Pittsburgh side, we're going to get way more value over here. So we'll talk about probably the best overall play on this showdown slate, Najee Harris. He is just an absolute monster. He is clearly in the Le'Veon Bell role of the past. When Le'Veon Bell was, from 2015-ish to 2017-18, Le'Veon Bell was just a volume machine, playing 100% of the snaps, catching the ball in the backfield, running the ball almost 20 times a game. That's exactly what Najee Harris is doing, man. 23 carries last week, over 100 yards. Hasn't gotten lower than 5 targets in the last 4 weeks. And you see in week 3, 19 targets, just insane. I mean, this guy's a volume machine right now. Best overall play on the slate. Safest play on the slate. I'll have Najee in pretty much all my lineups here. Now, let's move down to Big Ben. And, man, Big Ben, it looks rough for him out here. You can tell he's getting old. He can't really move. He's lost some velocity. It's rough to watch Ben play. And Ben's a legend, man, so it hurts. I think in this matchup, though, against Seattle, he can reach a little bit of his upside. I think Seattle's defense is pretty bad, especially I think their pass rush is okay, but I think their secondary is really bad here. So Big Ben, one of the safer plays on the slate. Quarterback, always safest on Showdown. I'll probably have a few shares of him in the captain spot, but like I said, I always like the pass catchers or the running backs especially the volume running backs like Najee Harris in the captain spots. So I'll be looking more for Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris, DK, Tyler Lockett, maybe even one of these cheap Steelers receivers that we're going to talk about in a second. So I'll be looking at more of them in captain, but I will mix in Ben, and like I said, I think he's safe for cash games as well in the flex. Deontay Johnson, absolutely love him here in this matchup. Juju Smith was just ruled out. You might see Deontay now work a little bit more on the slot. He's already getting a bunch of targets, man, but he's going to get even more of the target share with Juju now out for the year. So I absolutely love Deontay. I think he's one of the safest plays in the slate. I think he's one of the best targets for the captain spot as well. This guy has huge upside. Steelers should win this game. I know it'll be kind of slug it out, but I think Deontay's the best bet at receiver to do it. Chase Claypool, I expect him to play here. I know he's a little bit limited, but he has that upside too as well. Had a great game against Denver last week, 130 yards and that touchdown. And he has that big play potential that we look for against a bad Seattle secondary. So Claypool and Deontay, two of my favorite captain targets here for the showdown slate. Absolutely love both guys in all formats. keep it moving down here. You see the Steelers defense price up to 5,600. So it's tough to get there, but if you can, I do like the Steelers defense a lot going up against Geno Smith. I think they're going to get after him. They're going to sack him. They're going to force some turnovers. Absolutely love the Steelers defense in tournaments. I know the price tag's a little bit steep at 5,600, but if you can get there, you pair him with Najee Harris. Love that a lot in tournaments. James Washington, we got to keep an eye out on his injury status. Didn't play last week, but if he does play, he's basically the default number 3 receiver. And at 5,200, that's pretty safe. Him and Ben Roethlisberger have a decent rapport. He's been on the team for a while now, so he knows what to do with him. So I think if James Washington does play, we can definitely go there. Chris Boswell, like I said, I love the kickers in Showdown. Very safe. And Chris Boswell, they should win this game. They should have the lead. They should get a decent amount of points on the board. Could come from the field goal department. Give me Chris Boswell at 4,200. Kind of a tough call with the tight ends. Both Eric Ebron and Pat Freiermuth are kind of playing 50% of the snaps each. So it's tough to kind of decide who the guy is. But with Juju out for the year, you might see Pittsburgh go to more 2 tight end sets. And that opens both these guys up in tournaments for me. I would probably set a rule to only play one of these guys. So I would never have a lineup where I'm playing both Ebron and Freiermuth. I don't think both guys can get there with the upside together. So I would only limit one in my flex spot or captain spot if you're going to go that route. Now it gets interesting here with Ray McLeod. If James Washington is ruled out, Ray McLeod becomes one of the best values on the slate. But Anthony Miller is also interesting too because they just signed him to the practice squad. We have to see the news, if he's active, if he's elevated. That's the main thing for this whole slate is going to wait for the inactives to come out Sunday night, kind of see who's playing, who's not. We'll check on McLeod and Miller, but I think both these guys are in play here. Same with Cody White at minimum price. These guys are going to get more snaps potentially with Juju out and maybe even James Washington out. So if James Washington is ruled out especially, we need to be on the lookout for McLeod, Miller, and White to kind of see who's active, and then we can know who's going to get the snaps. I obviously lean McLeod. He's been there for a while. He kind of filled in last week when Juju went out, so I probably lean McLeod, one of the best values in the slate. But just monitor it because maybe you can take some chances on Miller and Cody White as well. And that's kind of how I'm seeing the values shake out. So pretty much all the values on the receiver side for both teams, kind of see how these injuries, how these inactives shake out. So keep an eye. Make sure you guys are following Twitter. You're staying up to date on the news all through Sunday. Appreciate you guys, man, so much. That's been it for Sunday Night Football. I'll have my Monday Night Football Showdown out soon as well. Appreciate you guys, man. Let's keep this grind going. We've been profitable. We've been enjoying the fantasy content. So make sure you guys like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, peace.